Should you move to Victoria, Nanaimo, or a small town on Vancouver Island? So you're thinking about moving to Vancouver Island, but you're stuck on one big question. Where should I move? There's so many options. Victoria, Nanaimo, or one of the amazing small towns here. So today I'm going to break it down for you, some pros, some cons, and we'll see which one might be the best fit for your lifestyle. So let's jump in. Let's start with Victoria, our capital city. It's the most urban experience that you'll get on Vancouver Island, but it still has that relaxed island feel. It's a city, but it's still a small city in the end. Victoria has some incredible restaurants, some nightlife, some shopping. Plus, if you need to get to the mainland often, you have the Swartz Bay Ferry and Victoria International Airport right nearby. Some pros of living in Victoria: more job opportunities, especially in government and tech. It's walkable, especially if you're downtown. It's one of the most walkable cities on Vancouver Island, with tons of amenities, restaurants, and things to do and see. And as well, it has the mildest climate on the island. Now, some of the cons of living in Victoria. It is the most expensive housing on the entire island. Traffic congestion is increasing a little bit. It's still a small city, but especially there's a bottleneck on the highway as you're leaving Victoria, as you're passing through Langford and going through Goldstream. There's a bottleneck, especially at rush hour. Congestion is increasing and you can count on it. And right in downtown Victoria, development is limited, and that means there's low inventory. A lot of the new building is actually happening outside of Victoria in a suburb, a little city called Langford, and there's lots and lots of expansion happening. So if you love city conveniences but still want that coastal charm and small city living, Victoria could be the perfect spot for you. But if you want a slightly more affordable city with a little bit of a different vibe, let's talk about Nanaimo. Nanaimo, the underrated middle ground. Nanaimo is the second largest city on the island, and it's growing fast. It's got a lot of big box stores, great schools, a solid job market, but without that same price tag that Victoria has. It is also a major transportation hub. You have 2 ferry terminals connecting you back to Vancouver, plus a regional airport in Cassidy. As well, there is now a high-speed passenger ferry called the Hullo Ferry that gets you to Vancouver, downtown Vancouver. Some pros of living in Nanaimo. 1, it's more affordable than Victoria. Also, it does have easier access back to Vancouver. There are quite simply more options. There are 2 ferry routes, one from Duke Point, one from Departure Bay. There's seaplane access, there's the Hullo Ferry. There are more options getting you back to the mainland. Another pro is its mix of urban and outdoor lifestyle. The downtown core of Nanaimo is lovely, but it is not massive and sprawling and does not compare to Victoria's. It's essentially a few small city blocks, but it is quite enjoyable and a nice place to visit. Now, some of the cons of living in Nanaimo. Downtown, it's still developing. It's a little less polished than Victoria. You'll see construction happening, and again, its size is much, much smaller. Another con is public transit is in the city, but it's not great. There's room for expansion, there's room for improvement, but yes, there are city buses. Another con is, as a city, it is quite spread out. Its walkability is next to nothing. It's not really possible. It's really spread out, so you will have to essentially have your own vehicle or rely on public transit. So if you want a balance of affordability, convenience, and nature, Nanaimo is a solid choice. But maybe city life isn't for you, and you're wondering, well, is there like a charming little small town that might be more the vibe I'm looking for? Small towns that are quiet, scenic, and affordable. Vancouver Island is packed with incredible small towns. Parksville, Qualicum Beach, Ladysmith, Duncan, slightly larger, Courtney and Comox, slightly larger centers as well, and so many more options. These are the spots where you'll really find that quieter, laid-back island lifestyle. There are quaint downtowns, lots of oceanfront views, kayaking opportunities, farmers markets, lush forests, and walking trails to explore. The biggest perks is that you'll have more space, as well as more affordability. Essentially, your money when purchasing a home might buy you the same house, but on a bigger property. More yard, more privacy, more space. There's also a strong sense of community on Vancouver Island. So if you love the outdoors and small town life, there are plenty of really great options. Some pros of living in a small town is slightly lower housing prices. Housing prices have escalated, of course, immensely in recent years. But at the same time, your dollar will go a little bit farther when you're looking in these small communities if you were to compare it directly to, say, downtown Victoria. Another pro is, of course, you'll have more space, you'll have nature at your doorsteps, more privacy. And in these smaller communities, a lot of them have a nice tight-knit community feeling. Cons of living in a smaller community, a smaller island town, there quite simply will be fewer job opportunities. If you work online, if you're retired, it doesn't matter as much, but there'll be less businesses that operate in these small communities, so less job opportunities. And as well, depending on where you are situated, your commute back to a major city hub will increase. Oftentimes, that'll only be 20 to 30 minutes, but it depends where you move. It could be a 45-minute drive, an hour drive to get back to, say, downtown Victoria. And if you're in Duncan, that's going to be an hour, maybe a little bit more. Another con, some areas have limited healthcare services. There are a few hospitals on the island, of course, and clinics, but finding a family doctor is still very, very challenging. So depending on where you're going on the island and how important that is to you, it might be something that's worth doing a little bit of research. So to recap, if you're retired, if you work remotely, or you just want a slower pace of life, a small town might be the perfect fit for you. Which one, though, is right for you? That's the biggest question. It really depends on what you're looking for. On Vancouver Island, we have plenty of options. Victoria, our capital city, best for small city lovers, professionals, and retirees who want amenities and nice mild weather. Nanaimo, best for those who want a mix of city and nature with better affordability. And all of our small town options, best for those who prioritize perhaps larger land, a little more space, and maximizing affordability and a quiet lifestyle. Really, I recommend that you come, you visit, you explore some of the small towns. If you're house shopping, we look at a few different properties and see which property, which area really connects with you the most. If you're coming this way and you'd like to have a look around, drop a comment, visit our website, you can reach out to us and we'd be happy to take care of you.